So you want to know how to make beats for Lil Baby? Check this out. So if you want to know how I made the loop, check out the last video I made. I explained to y'all and broke down the loop and how I made everything. But the first thing I did with the beat is I started with the clap. So this is a clap here. Simple clap. So anyway, anytime you're making trap beats or, rap beats, anything, most time, this is where your clap is going to be. It's going to be in the middle of every bar, as you see as I got right here. And it's just gonna repeat the same pattern. So that's pretty much it for the clap. Next I went to a hi-hat. So I mean, as you see, how I made this hi-hat pattern was started off 1/8 note, right? So I have my brush tool by hitting T and B on my keyboard. So T and B brings up the brush tool. Go here and then go to 1/8 notes. As you see, I just pasted it here. And then for this little roll right here, went to 132 triplet and just dropped it down to a B, or sorry, A sharp. Dropped down to A sharp and put that roll in there, just like that. And then I hit Control and Command on my keyboard and just kind of mess with the velocities here. And then you just got to put the rolls in where you think it fits nice. See, this roll right here goes to the clap, right? So I put this roll in so it leads into the clap. So let me play the clap too with this. Hold on. So it leads into the clap, right? Claps here. And then I put a little double step here. And how I did this little hi-hat pattern here, which was, this is also a 32 triplet. So basically, let me do this. I just hit here and just kept going down on the scale, just like this. Highlighted the hi-hats. Hit A on my keyboard. This is gonna bring up the velocity, the animated velocity, and I basically just took my mouse, clicked, at the end of this hi-hat, clicked here, dragged while I'm still holding it down, dragged up, and it basically just phased velocity out, just like that. And then I added another little 16th triplet roll here. And then from there, I just repeated the hi-hat pattern over. Next thing is the snare. Now for snares, this is the basic snare pattern here. So it's just with everything. I'm just gonna play everything here. First snare thing is you kind of want to put the bounce. So of course you got the clap, which is here, right? So clap is here. This is the clap. This is where the clap hits. You can either put it here. So watch. Have it like that. But I chose to just have it on this side for right now. So. That's how you create that little bounce. Now, there's different advanced snare patterns and stuff like that you could do, but for this beat, it didn't need all that. For this beat, I kind of wanted to keep it simpler, so I just did standard snare pattern. Give it a little bounce. Next thing is open hat. So, open hat, I started off on the one here. So this is the open hat. So with the open hat, you just kind of vibe with it. You know what I'm saying? Put it where you think it fits. This is the same thing with all these drum sounds and making the beats. You gotta put stuff where you think it fits. There's not really any rules to it. As long as it sounds bouncy, then you're pretty much good. So this is what it sounds like all together, right? So pretty simple. Just a little hi-hat pattern there. I mean, open hat pattern. Next is the 808. Now there's a lot of stuff you could do with the 808s, but 808, to keep it on the simpler terms, it basically follows the root note of this loop. So if we go up here to the piano, right, and you see the root notes, which is actually selected here. It goes from a G up to an A, up to an A sharp, and then it goes down to a D sharp, to another D sharp, then it goes up to an F sharp, right? If we look at the 808 here, we see the 808 starts out on the G and it just follows the exact same root note. You always want to follow the root note of the melody, or you always want to follow the bass notes of the piano or the loop or whatever you're making, right? Always follow the bass notes. So the 808 sounds like this. Next is the kick. Now, think about the kicks. Oh, one thing about the 808 is, before we get into the kick, you always want to have your 808 on velocity of 127. If you're in Logic or FL Studio, same shit. You want to have your velocity all the way up when you do your 808s. Always. Unless you're doing like a roll or something. But that's besides the point now. Always have your velocity all the way up on the 808s. Now, for the kicks, is different, right? Kicks, you go in here, you see I have my kick on, I have it a little lower velocity because you don't want the kick and the 808 hitting on the same velocity. You don't want it hitting too hard because you can't have shit that hits too hard, believe it or not. So next, for my kick pattern, I just basically took the 808 pattern here and I just followed it with the kick. So, oops. So I'm going to play these two together, the 808 and the kick. And you should be able to hear. So another thing for the kick, when you put down the kick, do not have the kick hitting on every single 808, every single note that the 808 hits on, because it completely, you want to have them where they can breathe, right? I don't have the kick hitting on every single 808 note. Take some out and just see what fits. And that's pretty much it for the beat, honestly. It's a pretty simple beat. The only thing now is just the layout of the beat. Which, I mean, there's nothing really spectacular about the layout of the beat, I started off with just the regular piano, right? This is the regular piano. That's with the bass notes, right? So I wanted to change it up for this melody. I took out all the bass notes on the piano, right? So I just had this one little simple melody to lead into it, right? So it sounds like this. Right, so that's playing. I'm like, all right, cool. Now I want everything to come in and just give it that dramatic effect, right? So it's like, cool. Now I got that. I'm gonna take the strings out and just have the pad and the piano playing. I took the snare out of the first and the kick out, because you don't want to bring all your drums in at one time. Next, I put all my drums in and added the strings back in. Did a little drop here. Did another little basic little drop here. Brought the strings and the pad back in and the piano. And then had a little plateau here. Took the bass notes out the piano, so it's just the piano melody here with the strings down an octave. And of course I got the bass back in there and the pad. And then I just repeated this whole thing from here over. I just repeated it over. Delete that. Take this. Command R. Repeat that over. So if you look at the beat, right, you got the intro here. You got the hook here. The verse here. Then you repeat the hook. Then you got another verse, and then you have to repeat the hook again. So I'm just going to command option this, or option and drag this over here. Then repeat the hook again. And then you can just have this for outro, right? So that's pretty much it. That's all I did on the loop, the whole beat. Y'all see me make the loop, now you see me make the beat. It's pretty simple. One thing I did do for the hi-hats I forgot to mention is I added a delay plug-in to the hi-hats, which gives it a little panning, thing in your ear, like so. It's like a slight delay, and I got it on ping pong, so it goes pans between your left and right ear when it delays. Got it on a 1/4 setting. But that's pretty much the entire beat right here. Hope y'all enjoyed. If you have any questions, let me know. Yeah, peace out.